Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. This is the very first live Q&A session for Shell Eco Marathon Europe 2018. Today we'll be having a short presentation about the new Chapter 1 rules. And here with us to present those is Gilles Vanier, who is the Technical Director for Shell Eco Marathon Europe.
Good afternoon.
And if you have any other questions about logistics, I will be there to answer them. Let's wait another minute before we start. I'm just waiting for a few more people to join. So for those of you who have just joined, thank you so much for joining. This is the first live Q&A session for Shell Eco Marathon Europe 2018. Today we'll be mostly talking about the new Chapter 1 rules and then answering your questions. If you have any other questions about logistics, then I will be there to answer them. And here to answer your technical questions is Gilles Vanier, Marathon Europe Technical Director. Okay, it's 4:30 UK time on the dot, and we've got quite a few viewers online. So I suggest that we start. Let me just share my screen for the presentation. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. Let me just share my screen so you can see that Gilles will be giving now. Alrighty, that means we can start. Gilles, take it away.
Okay, good afternoon. Nice having all of you in the first session for this year. I just want to present a few the major change in the rules for this year, and then we have time for Q&A at the end, and I hope we can clarify everything you have in mind currently. Next, Sarah. Next, okay. Just the rules to define what is the rules. Chapter 1 is global rules, how to design your vehicle with all limitation in terms of vehicle design and energy part. And Chapter 2 will be published later, probably around January normally. It's to define the location, the schedule, the track, more on the location of the event. Chapter 1, just to come back on this, is defined to it's the definition of the vehicle. It's used for all Shell Eco Marathon over the world. The three main ones, Asia, America, Europe, but also all Challenger event. Chapter 3 for the DWR Championship. We will provide an update later on the year, and the new one in preparation, not yet finished and in construction. In fact, the Chapter 4 for specific rules about autonomous UrbanConcept competition. Next. Okay, a few major changes this year in the rules. One concern all the team, as we have too much struggle with driver weight, with the ballast, with everything, especially at start of the competition each time. It's the same in each event. We have made a change. What is not changing is minimum driver weight for prototype is still 50 kilos, for UrbanConcept is still 70 kilos. But the ballast will be based on the weight of the lightest driver. In the example, you have two drivers. If you consider for prototypes, the minimum weight is 50 kilos. This would say the driver 1, 53 kilos, not need ballast, but driver 2, 45 kilos, need 5 kilo ballast. 5 kilo ballast will apply for both drivers. And if you can just go in the next slide, Sarah. And the ballast will be fixed during tech inspection in the car and sealed. You will not be able to remove the ballast. The ballast will be based again in the weight of the lightest driver and apply for both drivers. Which kind of equipment can be ballast? It's a weightlifting disc or scuba diving. Metallic part looks like a weightlifting disc, but no tools, no any kind of equipment, any box, stone. We have seen too much things not really ballast and not easy to fix in the car. The ballast have to be fixed definitely in the car for the rest of the event to make sure they are not dangerous for the driver in case of rollover or crash. Next, please. Driver clothing. One-piece flame retardant driving suit, FRC, flame retardant clothing, is the definition of the clothes you need to wear. We don't ask for Nomex or something like this. It's too high standard, but just make sure in your clothes they are approved, and you have probably somewhere stamp or something in the clothes to confirm they are flame retardant, but not high level of fire protection. All the part of the the body must be covered. We have teams without socks or with part of skin visible between the shoes and the bottom of the overall. It's not acceptable. One piece overall and cover all the part of the body. Next, please. What we have seen also last season, too much team use have a different driver year after year, but use the same car. It's classic for Shell Marathon. But sometimes drivers have no free space between the feet and the front of the car. A minimum crumple zone of 100 mm between the front of the vehicle body and the driver's feet is mandatory. Just make sure your vehicle is made for, and also the driver in your selection at the beginning of the year can fit in the car with this 100 mm crumple zone. It's an evidence for safety in case of frontal crash to protect the driver's feet and the driver's legs. Next. About the safety for the driver, make sure you have enough protection around the driver. This would say for front impact and side impact also. Too much car have a body and body side too much flexible or not enough resistant for protection of the driver. We don't ask for a cage, but something like a cage, and we never practice a crash test for the car, but you have to consider that your driver must be safe inside of the car in any condition. Remember, crash, rollover is always something happen during the event. Especially for prototypes. Yep. Back, please, sir. Especially for prototypes, if you can mark clearly where the marshal can lift your car. We had some complaint last year about the marshal doing rescue on a track, but we cannot explain to all marshal for any vehicle, for all vehicles, which place they have to lift the car. The first thing they do, they save the driver and they remove the car from the track. It must be evident to see where, if your car have a fragile place, it must be evident to see where to leave the car. Okay, next. The horn. After 2 years of tests with different type of horn, like you can see a bicycle horn with inside built-in battery. we have decided to come back in a classic car horn. It's mandatory to use a normal horn like a car with a classic sound. No chirping or siren like a tones. It must be a continued sound, and it's mandatory to use a car horn, classic one, and no bicycle or cycling horn will be permitted again for next year. Next. To prevent any comment and complaint, and to ensure you will use the horn on track, the horn will be connected directly on the battery. In any case, the horn will be counted in the conception of the vehicle at the end to provide the result. Next. Brakes for prototype. In the same spirit as the crumple zone, for next year, it's only recommended, but for 2020, all the prototype must have a foot-operated front brakes. You have, for the driver, they have more and more things around to manage with hand, front, rear brake, dead man switch, starter, accelerator, everything. It's too much things to manage with two hands only. It's why we will make a mandatory as a front operate the foot operate front brakes. But we give you time to set up, because we know for a lot of team you need to build a new car or you need to make a lot of change in your vehicle. It's why it's only mandatory for 2020. Next. One major change also for UrbanConcept. The objective for UrbanConcept is to be as realistic as possible. On real car on the road, the main thing, have two doors. It's why first we change these rules, and for 2019, UrbanConcept car must have a door in each side, and same type of door, and respecting the same rules as it's currently for one door. It's also for safety, because in case of crash or a car on a side, potentially we cannot open the car to rescue the driver. It's why also we ask for two doors, but it's two things at the same time, for the safety, but also for the spirit of the car. And I know in terms of design, it can change a lot in your vehicle, but in the spirit, and to compare for the public, and for you also to share what you are able to do. But for the public, it's more credible having something really close to the reality. Next. Braking for UrbanConcept. We have seen too much strange, not safe, not solid, too much critical things in a brake system. First, bicycle brake is not made for real car, it's made for bicycle, and UrbanConcept is a real car. In the objective, again, the same spirit and for both doors. It's why bicycle brake will not be allowed for next season, and you have to use commercial brake system. You will have to provide during tech inspection specification of the part you are using, invoice or something to provide to prove it's commercial part. And the recommendation is to use a motorbike or scooter brake system, go-kart potentially, but it's obvious. We know it's a lot of change for you. It's obvious part, but having a brake efficient and not see any homemade disc brake without any test, any calculation is not acceptable. It's why we want commercial brake parts. Next. About the UrbanConcept, still one comment. We have seen in the last season some teams arriving with 4 master cylinder, all connected with one pedal. Is not acceptable anyway for the balance between right and left. It's not possible to do. It's why a maximum of 2 master cylinder may be used, or the best option, one like in a real car with dual circuit. Next. Result calculation for prototypes, no change for next year. And the result will be based only on the classic consumption for battery electric, ICE or hydrogen, in the same based as in the previous years. Next. For UrbanConcept, we will consider all energy measurement. This would say the classic propulsion energy consumed and all electrical energy consumed by the vehicle. Next. In electrical system, only one battery is allowed. For battery electric category, only the propulsion battery, no accessory battery. And for ICE or hydrogen, only one accessory battery. Next. We will install a Joulemeter for all UrbanConcept to provide all energy measurement, all battery electric vehicle, and we will select some prototype to install a Joulemeter, but it's not mandatory in Joulemeter in prototypes. It will be mandatory in all UrbanConcept and naturally all battery electric vehicle. Next. And to define what is all energy measurement, just some example. For prototype is still the same as previous year. This concerns only UrbanConcept. What can be connected on the battery? It's only the horn. Directly on the battery, you can have the horn. It's allowed having built-in battery, but only for communication. This would say for mobile phone or walkie-talkie. Nothing more. At the output of the battery, you can connect the horn, then the Joulemeter. And at the output of the Joulemeter, you have to connect all electrical equipment in the car. This concerns electrical starter, light system, GPS data logger, any electronic management system. In that way, for ICE, you can have oil or water pump. It's still not allowed having a electrical fuel pump, electrical clutch, electrical steering system. But this gives you also an opportunity to provide any innovation using electricity and see what kind of part you can separate from the classic engine, especially for ICE, which kind of element can run on electricity, but all will be considered in the total result at the end. Next. The Joulemeter have to be for all vehicles, especially all UrbanConcept, have to be visible inside of the engine compartment, on the energy compartment, and must be easy to read and reset. Nothing like a Joulemeter outside of the body. It's not accepted. And for battery electric, it must be easily read and reset from outside of the vehicle. Next. A battery mounted directly under the driver's seat are prohibited. We have seen that, especially in prototype ICE. The battery is really under the back of the driver. In case of battery fire, it's not acceptable. So the battery must be in behind the bulkhead and behind the driver, not under the driver's seat. Next. For battery electric, especially power tool and handheld equipment battery, not permitted as propulsion battery for next year. Next. The starter for ICE. An electrical starter must be used during the competition. Manual on starting is prohibited for next year. Next. Telemetry will be provided for the UrbanConcept. Still fixed only on UrbanConcept. Probably we will test in few prototypes, but in selection of prototype. It's still mandatory for UrbanConcept. When change, we will use a built-in battery, and we provide the battery with the equipment. Not need any more the DC, and the consumption will not be taken from your battery. We will install a battery with the onboard computer and all telemetry equipment. Next. As I said, powered by a dedicated, the telemetry will be powered by a dedicated battery provided by Shell, and not need for DC-DC converter. Dedicated battery system must remain isolated from vehicle electrical system. It's two separated system. Next. Drivers World Championship 2018. We expect some change. It's currently in discussion. We try to make it more simple, more evident to understand. Chapter 3 rules will be published for year. More detail about that. Next. Autonomous UrbanConcept category is a new category, is really something idea yet exactly how will be the competition. We are working with a few teams this category to build the category, to build some rules. Probably this year it will be more a showcase than a real competition. We have no idea yet, and we are working to provide something as soon as possible, but to create for the following years, essentially. Next. Registration. You want to do this part, Sarah, or I continue? I can continue. One main point for next season: when and where. Nothing has been confirmed yet. We have strictly no confirmation about the venue. Shell Eco Marathon Europe will be in London, but it's only what I can say yet. Not need to ask Sarah to know more. She have no answer, and you will be informed as soon as it's confirmed. And we know it's essential information for you, especially about the track. But what I can say, the track will not be more difficult than the track of last year. But I can't tell you how will be the track, as we have no confirmation about the venue itself. Next. Selection will open soon. Phase 1 open 2nd of October and close 7th of November. It's 1 month. Please be ready for registration, and the result will be on November 17 when we open phase 2. You have again 1 month for phase 2, 17 November to 18 December. and the final selection announced on 15th of January. Phase 3, 15th of January to 24th of May, and off-track awards close on 14th of June. Next. One major point, please. Registration for phase 1 is very simple. We don't ask too much detail of your vehicle. We need some pictures. We need maybe a drawing, technical drawing of your vehicle, but not really more. You have to choose which category, proto urban, and which energy you choose. It's not really more. And some word for motivation to share which kind of motivation you have for. And please not apply on the last day, and especially in the last hour. We have each year a bug with the system because the majority of team apply in the last 2 hours. And if you have struggled with the logging, with your credential for logging, nobody is able to answer. Sarah is not working during the night to ensure you are able to connect. Please, as soon as you have confirmation of your team, you know what you want to do, please register in the system. For all team already participate before, reuse your previous account. It's mandatory to track your history, and don't create a new one unless you want to change your team name. If you need the new one, ask Sarah first, but check with the team leader of previous year or the teacher. You have an account already open for your school or university. Application does not guarantee the selection. The selection is based on previous results, on the quality of the results in the past, on the 3 last year. And new teams or teams that have had no result in the last 3 years will not be accepted and have to pass first by challenger event. We are working on the list of challenger event for next year, but it's probably something similar to this year. You have to participate first in a challenger event and to demonstrate you are able to run a vehicle on track. If a school or university won't apply for 2 teams, it must be one UrbanConcept and one prototype, and it must be in different energy classes. It's not accepted having 2 prototypes or 2 UrbanConcept and the same energy. But apply for 2 teams, don't guarantee the selection of 2 teams. As we have in the last 3-4 years, more applications than we can accept during the event, we have to make a selection. It's impossible to do, otherwise we have not enough space for the paddock for all teams. In that situation, we want a maximum of different schools, not a maximum of vehicles from the same school. It's why applying for 2 teams, it's a risk of having only one selected. And when you have submitted your application, you cannot change for the rest of the season the category or the energy type. Next. The main recommendation, please read the rules. Chapter 1 is already on the website since 1st of August. Take the time to read article by article. Compare each article with what you have already on your car or what you expect to do on your car. Send your question to Sarah via Shell Eco Marathon mailbox, but always provide the maximum of detail. It's easier to answer when we know which type of vehicle, which energy, and send the maximum of drawing or picture to explain clearly what you have in mind, what you like to do. Otherwise, with just a few words or a small sentence, it's not easy to understand what you have in mind and what is, if it's really acceptable for the rules or not. And don't forget, in YouTube, you can find tech tips about a lot of points to explain a bit more the rules. And I think we are at the end. And keep always, have a look always in Facebook, read all the newsletter, all documentation, have a look at the website. It's where you will find a lot of information for all the team all over the world. The majority of questions they sent is already, you can find the answer yourself in the rules or in Facebook or in all documentation we send to you. Okay. And no.
Great. Thank you so much, Gilles. Let me just stop sharing my screen.
Sarah, about the selection, something or no? Something more?
About the team selection?
Yeah, nothing. I think it's...
No, I think this slide said it all.
The main,
obviously, if you register.
Not wait the last minute, please.
Yeah, never wait for the last minute, because I won't be waiting for your emails at 11:30 p.m. in the evening to make sure you've all logged in correctly. So the best way to do that is just to do it early during normal business hours, and then I'll be able to help you out. If you do decide to do it last minute, then chances are you'll be rejected because you didn't manage to log in on time. Right. Should we move on to the... I see we have a few here waiting. So the first one is from Quentin Telegrand. He says, hello, Sarah, Gilles, and teams. Their team have a question about the telemetry. So as you've already explained, it says that in the 2018 rules, we're installing it for all UrbanConcepts and some selected prototypes. And Quentin would like to know, when will those prototype teams know that they've been selected for the telemetry?
I have no answer yet, to be honest. And the focus is really on UrbanConcept, and it's it cannot be mandatory for any prototype. It's only on demand, and if you accept to do it.
Thanks. Next question from Dan Ekelenkamp from Green Team Twente in the Netherlands. He says, as the rules regarding battery have changed, we were wondering what the maximum allowed capacity for the battery is. They compete in UrbanConcept. And I believe their team is hydrogen.
It's for hydrogen and for internal combustion engine. It's only a small battery. You are not allowed having a big battery anyway. It's because it's accessory battery only. Fuel cells still need to run itself, and you still need super capacity in electric from the fuel cell itself.
Thanks. Next question is from Bernd from HTL SBG Racing Team. I believe that's a team in Austria, from Salzburg. He says, regarding the door size for UrbanConcept, our door has a surface area larger than 800 times 500, but no possibility to fit a rectangle this size inside the door.
The best to answer
this type
of question, I really need drawing pictures and see what always made your vehicle and see if it's acceptable or not, because like this is not possible to give you a correct answer.
Yeah, so in this case, Bernd,
for all the question about the door, just especially the size of the door, please send pictures or drawing with a template to see if it's acceptable or not in terms of size.
Okay, yeah, so Bernd, if you could just send an email to the shellicomarathon@shell.com email address with maybe a photo or a drawing so that Gilles can understand exactly what you mean, and then we'll see what the best answer is for your question. Next question is from Mate Gombozi from SZ Energy Team from Hungary. They are running with an UrbanConcept car in the battery electric category. They say, in Chapter 1, I can't find that solar panels are forbidden to use by the teams. What is the rule about solar panels this year?
It's not allowed. It's simple.
Yeah, so solar panels won't be allowed again, ever, in the competition.
Must be provided by the battery for battery electric, and that's it.
And then they have another question. Our other question is about the placement of our telemetry system. We would like to place the whole thing under the roof layer, the antennas as well, but it will be pointing to the sky, so we think that the signal strength would not be a problem. Will you accept this kind of placement this year as well?
Telemetry system is not. It's currently in a modification process to try to make it a bit more compact, and the antenna have to be yes, open for the sky, but it can be in different position anyway. Just send a drawing of what you expect to do, and we can approve or not. Just like this, is not easy to give you the correct answer.
Yeah, so same thing, just send an email to the Shell ecomarathon@shell.com email address or on the Facebook group. But because this question is quite specific to your team, I would recommend sending an email, and then we can have a look. Next question is from Monica from Poland, Team Rotor. They are running on an ICE ethanol prototype vehicle. They want to know what the best way is to mount their battery.
in the energy compartment, I would say. It's not. I have no other answer. I just make sure it's not under the driver's seat, as it's the most critical. We have seen a few battery, including in ICE category. In the past, we had fire battery, especially if you have lithium battery. This is very dangerous for the driver. The battery have to be in energy compartment in the back of the car.
Yeah, we can't give you all the answers. Another question from our friends from Hungary. Our other question is about the tires. Is there any update about the situation? During the whole summer, we tried to find another supplier for our team, but we still don't have a solution for that.
We have no solution for the moment. We are working, the team, the Shell team is working to find a new partner. We have contact with different Shell tires manufacturers. I don't give any name, but you know the main one. The process to find a new partner and have a contract with them take times. To be honest, I don't see any tires, a new tires partner for next season. Maybe they will be in the event, but not provide tires like Michelin did in the past. It takes time to develop because it's specific for the Shell Eco Marathon, and nothing can be developed so shortly. Unfortunately, I have no answer. I have only one recommendation. If you have already Michelin tires from previous years, keep this in a side and use only when you need. For prototypes, you can buy classic bicycle tires for any test of the vehicle, and keep your, especially your radial tires, for the event only. You will save your tire. You will keep a chance having enough tires for the race, but safe with using bicycle tire. It's the same for UrbanConcept. You can find motorbike tires or also different Michelin tires, commercial tires, fit on the wheel you have, to save your current tires for the competition only.
Yeah, I think your best bet really is to ask other teams whether they found anywhere to buy tires that work with what you need for your vehicle. Unfortunately, like I've already explained on Facebook a couple of times, Michelin had a specific production of tires that were just for Shell Eco Marathon. So they had machines that were dedicated to just those tires, which I think you can understand takes time to set up. So this is something that's going to happen overnight, which means we probably won't have any tires for sale from another partner this year. So you'll have to find your own solutions, and the best way to do that is just to share your knowledge and try to help out other teams as much as you can. We have another question from Vidette, who is asking, how can we get these slides? So I'll be posting the slides on the Facebook group right after this. And we have another question from David from Spain, Team UMH. They run on a prototype gasoline vehicle. They use a GPS with an autonomous battery. Will it be forbidden this year?
In prototype, no. In UrbanConcept, yes. As we have all measurement in UrbanConcept, if you have a GPS, it must be powered by the accessory battery. If you are in prototype category, not for this year. It will be for next year.
Right. So this year, David, you in particular don't need to worry about that because you have a prototype vehicle. I have a question from Maximilian Mühlbauer from Too Fast in Munich. He says, does the telemetry battery also have to be in the engine compartment?
It will be inside of the onboard, on the computer of the telemetry system. It will be inside of the package anyway. And everything will be in the engine compartment. Yeah.
Okay. I have another question from Bernd from HTL Salzburg. He says, regarding the safety belts, Article 29B says the crotch strap mounting should be underneath the body. Is it mandatory to be mounted underneath?
Just let me have a look at the right article. Yes, you have in it. Just have a look at the tech tips. We have one tech tip in YouTube dedicated about the safety belt, and you have some drawings, some nice explanation of how to fit the safety belt. It's really more clear with drawing and some view of the best practice.
Tech tip is still very much up to date, so you can have a look at that video on YouTube directly for more details.
YouTube, Shell Eco Marathon, tech tips, safety.
Yeah. I have a question from Oscar Holmberg. He says, hi, I have a question about Article 31. Bike or cycling horns are no longer permitted. Is the horn that you could buy from the SEM e-shop still allowed?
The horn in the e-shop is the classic car horn. It's allowed, yes.
Okay, great. Are there any other questions? We still have 17 minutes to spare for you. Let me just see. I believe we had a question on the Facebook group directly from France. So let me just have a look at their question. From Team Carbon Zero, Nieps, they are running in battery electric. He says, in the 2017 rules, Chapter 57, Section 1, we had the following devices may be powered by batteries other than the propulsion or accessory battery, provided they use built-in or small capacity batteries, radio communication system, GPS system, etc. But this section disappeared in the 2018 rules. Can we have some clarification on this point? I think this is what we've already talked about from David's question, but it's always worth repeating.
Yes, it's clear. It's what what I showed previously in the presentation. What is allowed as using building battery? It's only mobile phone or walkie-talkie, only something for communication between the driver and the team leader or the paddock. This only for UrbanConcept, as we are talking about all energy measurement. No change for prototype. You can still have like a GPS or communication equipment with built-in battery, but for this year and for next year, it will be the same for this year. For this season and for next season, it will be the same for prototype. What is only allowed with building battery is mobile phone or walkie-talkie. All the rest have to be powered by the accessory battery.
Okay, we've had another question in the meantime from Maximilian from Too Fast Again. He says, are we allowed to build the spiders to mount the brake discs ourselves?
I like to see some detail before. Please send a specification of what you like to do, and in that way I can answer what is allowed or not allowed. Just give name of parts and like this is not enough for us. Please send an email to again.
So Maximilian, I know you know my email address, so you can just send that question to me directly, and I'll forward it on to Gilles. Any other questions? If not, we'll just finish up early, but we still have 15 minutes left. Gilles, are there maybe any questions we've been receiving that are a bit repetitive that might be worth answering here?
Classic question. No, I don't see. The classic question will be probably around the all energy measurement for the UrbanConcept category. Again, the battery have to provide all equipment in a car. It's just simple to explain. When I use my car, and it's the same for you, I never seen anybody having a long cord plugged in the garage and running with the car. All the consumption of your car you are using every day, it's considered in the consumption, and the car must be autonomous in terms of energy. It's why, to be more realistic and close to the reality when we give your result, it's why we include all energy consumption. And it's an opportunity for you to check in your vehicle what is really necessary, what is gadget, and just to reduce your consumption by using only the necessary equipment.
We've had another question in the meantime from Andy Green. He is from Greenbath Racing, and they have a gasoline prototype. He says CNG has been removed as a fuel. Is this a permanent decision, or will CNG be allowed in the future again?
No, I don't think CNG will come back. We tried for the last 3 years. Except 1 or 2 teams have made the challenge easily. It's too much complicated. It's not safe for what a lot of teams do, and we have not seen any increase of number of teams. In three years, the number in Europe stayed at 3 teams. The number in Asia started at 4, and finally we had only 1 team last year, and the same in US. It's why, if it's not enough interest, it's not easy to develop a category. Why we have cancelled this one, and I don't see any way for CNG to come back in energy in the future.
Thanks, Gilles. We've had a question from Rafael from, I'm guessing, Poland. He says, hello, I have a question about the crumple zone for the prototype category. Can any equipment, like for example brake pedals, be in that 100 millimeter space? Can they put something in the crumple zone, or does it have to stay empty?
a brake pedal can be in this area, but it's again the best way to answer for all this type of question is pictures or drawing with a clear to show clearly what you have in front of your car and have a look if it's safe. But the final decision will be anyway during the technical inspection. Make sure the feet of the driver have at least a gap between the front of the body and the feet to protect him in case of crash in front. Just for all is designed, please send again in the Shell Eco Marathon email some more detail with drawing, pictures, and dimension.
Okay. I don't have any new questions. So I think I might as well just do a quick reminder here. So we know that you're impatiently waiting to know the venue and the dates for the event, and so are we, to be honest. Unfortunately, we really don't have that information. We're not keeping anything from you. If we're not telling you, it's ourselves. So as soon as we do have that information, as soon as it's confirmed, we'll definitely let you know. It's my main priority. It's my job to let you know these sorts of things, so I'll make sure to do it as quickly as I can, as soon as I can. But right now, unfortunately, we don't have that information. So there's no point in asking because we don't know. And as soon as we do know, we'll let you know.
Yeah, you have to be sure Sarah and I are pushing for decision, but it's not on our hand, and we know, especially for the track, you need to know how will be made the track for your vehicle definition. We know that, we try to do the best, but we have no answer yet.
We've had another question from Team Carbon Zero from Lycée Nicéphore-Niepce in Dijon. They say, we have an autonomous bicycle speed meter. Are these allowed?
You are in UrbanConcept category. Again, if it's in UrbanConcept category, all equipment have to be powered by the accessory battery.
Okay. Yes, I think they are an UrbanConcept vehicle. Any other questions? Now is the time. We have 9 minutes left. Are there any other reminders we might want to talk about? I mean, obviously, just the usual, read the rules, respect the deadlines. Anyone who is late in submitting phase 1 or phase 2 will be automatically disqualified from the competition. It's that simple. So please make sure you do everything on time.
Just remember that we have rejected one very good team from Italy just because they applied too late. We know it was a good team. They had result in the past, but they just tried to apply just 1 day later, and no chance for any no second chance. You have to be in time or not in the Shell Eco Marathon.
Yeah, this is something we do actually apply in real life. It's not just an empty threat. A couple of teams can confirm, unfortunately. We do have a question from Quentin again. He says, our telemetry works under Android app. And of course, the phone has a battery. Is it forbidden in 2018?
Yes, the mobile phone is only for the communication in UrbanConcept category. If it's something that helps the driver to make better results, it must be considered in the conception of the vehicle.
Okay, we're almost there. Are there any last-minute questions before we close up? Let me just check on Facebook. I don't see anything new. Green Team 20. Is there a maximum capacity of the accessory battery for hydrogen? Yes or no?
Yes, but to be honest, I am not an electrical expert, and I have to check the rules. We can just send your question by email, and we will answer. We can answer in Facebook. Just I need to check in the rules, and I am not electrical expert, and I always ask the electrical expert for this type of answer. But we can answer on Facebook. Make sure all of you can see the answer.
Yeah, I think this is a question that's interesting for a lot of hydrogen teams. So if you could just post that on the Facebook group, that would be great. Okay, anything else? You've got Gilles all to yourselves. You can answer. You can ask him almost anything. All right, I don't see any more questions, so I think we can for today. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining. I hope it was useful to you. We'll have another one, a second session like this that will be a bit more concentrated on logistics a bit further down the line. And if we feel like there is a need for another one concentrated more on technical questions, then we'll be happy to host another one as well. This will become a video that will be available on YouTube at all times, so you're free to watch it as many times as you want, and to share it with maybe your team members that couldn't join the session. And as I said, I'll be sharing that link on the Facebook group as well as the full slide pack for you guys to look over again. And if there are any other questions that spring to your mind in the meantime, please let me know either on the Facebook group or by email as usual. So yeah, thank you again for joining, for taking the time. Gilles, do you have any parting words maybe?
I just would say good luck for this season. As always, think about a few things, detail. Prepare your schedule for the year. The deadline will be the event, but you have to prepare a few things in advance. And starting to think about like a shipment of the vehicle, especially if you are out of Europe, it can be a bit complicated in terms of documentation for customs and everything like this. All of these kind of things, the logistic you need to join the event, take time also to organize, and it's already a time to think about all of this detail. Not only the car.
Yeah, it's never too early to start preparing. I saw a lot of you are already recruiting new team members for a team, which is great. Just make sure you keep that experience from previous years. Even if you're all new, try to learn as much as you can from maybe previous team members. That's really important. Make sure your driver is someone who is comfortable with driving cars like this, that they're not too nervous, and make sure you train them as much as you can once the vehicle is ready to run. That's also super important for their safety and for your overall results on the day of the competition. So I can only echo Gilles and wish you all the best of luck for the 2018 season. And again, we're here to answer your questions, so please don't hesitate. And have a lovely evening. Thank you everyone so much for joining.
Bye.
Bye-bye.